Ladies and gentlemen, if there was like several things I knew about video game trends, it was the arena shooters, which was like Halo and Call of Duty. You had the hero shooters, which were like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, and then you had battle royales, which became oversaturated to the point to where I almost want to puke. It made me that sick. And then there came a little other genre that started to ease its way into the gaming world. And for a time, it was really not much thought of. Of course, I'm talking about extraction shooters. Extraction shooters like Tarkov. We all know Tarkov was like the standard when it came to extraction shooters, but Tarkov was the only thing that really kept extraction shooters going. Then other titles like Delta Force and Arena Breakout came out, and then there came out a tiny title that just blew up extraction shooters out of the water. That game goes to Helldivers 2. And so extraction shooters went up like tenfold. They became the new staple. Tarkov started getting more popular, and then Delta Force, and now Helldivers 2 started this whole zeitgeist for extraction shooters. And then a tiny studio making a game in the background called Embark Studios just dropped, probably in my opinion, what is the next game for Game of the Year award. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is just that game. It is just that game. It is probably, in my opinion, the best extraction shooter out in the market today. Arc Raiders is one of the best, if not the most polished extraction shooters I have, or just alone most polished video games in 2025. And it's a live service game. Let me just break that down for you. 2025, a live service game being a finished product. Yeah, no, I hardly believe it myself. This game is so polished and well done, I have almost no complaints about it. Arc Raiders, the second biggest title by Embark Studios, who, by the way, developed the game called The Finals. Let me tell you something. The Finals is a competitive, I guess you could say, quote unquote, battle royale game. They went completely outside the box with this one. This is not a battle royale game. This is not what they were accustomed to with the Finals in terms of gameplay and design. And they dropped this, a game that no one saw coming, no one saw even imagining. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know where to start, but you know, we gotta start somewhere. So let me introduce you to the world of Arc Raiders, and again, what is my opinion worthy of Game of the Year. Let's get into it. Our first step is going into the lore and slash mechanics. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive of the lore. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you the mechanics and how everything is laid out for the game. So the first thing we're going to dive into is the Codex, the world of Arc Raiders, the lore, the history of this game. Arc Raiders has such a rich and beautiful history to it. It has so much depth in terms of lore. You can find anything in the world of Arc Raiders. No matter what map you can go to, you can find anything in the world of Arc Raiders. Whether that be remains of robots, you find these giant husks of these barons. Like, there is always lore pieces and elements that literally hint at what could be deeper story elements into the game. But if you want more of a direct and conclusive resolution to it, you can find that in the Codex. The Codex is the lore. It's the history. It's what has happened in the world of Arc Raiders. That's what this is. So Arc Raiders, it takes place in a very grim universe. Very broken down, very hopeless type of setting where everything is like in a very depressing, society is on the brink of collapse, pretty much. I mean, you're using guns that are literally modeled with pipes inside of them. Pipes, screws, you know, you're makeshifting these very crude weapons, and it tells you a story about the theme and the tone of Arc Raiders. You're not in a pristine society. You're not the boss. You're not the doom guy. You are in a helpless situation, and you're trying to make the most out of this situation. So the whole premise is humanity got driven underground because machines were falling from the sky. And your whole goal is to help the community of Speranza, which is the main hub of the city of Toledo. So Toledo is the main like city, and Speranza is the community within the city of Toledo. So your whole thing is to rebuild or contribute to Speranza. You're there to go on quests, find clues of what the machines are doing. Like, it's so in depth. The codex just gives you the basics. It gives you the outline. Once you start doing the quest, you start looking into the story elements themselves. You start looking into, okay, what actually happened here? Who's sabotaging these crates, these supply drops? You know, there is so much that this game offers just in the lore itself, but it's not all explained to you. You have to go and find it, which I absolutely love. I love being able to see, whoa, what's actually happened here? Maybe you'll run across a little lore drop or a clue to what happened in this vicinity. So after the codex is the traders, is the people of Speranza, the people that you're working with. So we're going to go down the list of hierarchy, and I'm going to explain to you what each person does for the society of Speranza. So our first candidate is Celeste. Celeste is the leader of Speranza. She is the head honcho. She runs the community of Speranza itself. If you need extra parts or you need extra equipment to build certain parts for loadouts or for your workshop and stuff, Celeste can give you those parts for a fee. And that fee is with seeds. You can find them on your rooster, Scrappy, because not only is she the leader of the community, she also helps maintain the food economy within Speranza. So therefore, her mechanics of being able to take in seeds makes sense for her role. The next character on the list is Shani. She is head of security for Speranza. She maintains law and order. She, manages the reconnaissance outside of Speranza itself. So what does she offer you? Well, not really much. I hate to say it. She doesn't really offer much, but she does offer much in terms of accessibility. And what do I mean by that? One, she is the only person in Speranza, if you are unable to craft a hatch key, a raider hatch key, she is the person to go to. You can usually buy them off her for like 9,000 credits, stock up on money, or you can craft it in the workshop. So all that Shani sells is a pair of binoculars, but her most vital piece is the hatch keys. If you need a hatch key, or you're about to go into a raid that you need to, that's going to require some heavier equipment, and you don't want to risk losing that equipment, and you need something to get out of that raid fast and effectively, go to Shani. She's the best selection for that. So next is Tien Wen. She is the gunsmith at the gun shop of Speranza. Shocker, I know, right? She is all about selling you weapons, attachments, or any ammunition that you need if you are in need of like some quick ammo. Okay, again, if you don't have the resources, but here's the thing. Only go to these shops for last ditch efforts. Okay, if you don't have the resources, or if you're tight on resources and you have the money, you can use the shops to purchase those last minute resources. But I would suggest saving up your bucks. But yeah, gun shop, Tien Wan, she's your gal. Next is Apollo. Apollo is your go booms guy. That's what he is. He goes boom. So if you need any gadgets, gizmos, grenades, or anything that goes boom, Apollo's your guy. And last but not least, we have the sentient and very charismatic android Lance. Who knew a robot could be a doctor? AI is really taking over the world. We might need to think about this. But yes, Lance is the healer. He also gives you kits, your backpacks. So if you need a combat backpack, loot backpack, and or the tactical backpack, Lance is your guy. Like I said, any heals, any survival gear you need, go to Lance. So next we're going into the Raiders category. We are going to the projects tab. What is projects? Well, I'm glad you asked. Your projects are your prestige. This is how you prestige in the game. And what is the project? It is called the Expedition. So what is the Expedition? Well, it's literally you building a convoy and you literally sending out your character to leave Speranza. That's pretty much it. And it's a long way to prestige in this game. you have to donate a lot of resources. And I'm only on tier 1, and I've only donated to 2 tabs. So if you're wanting to prestige, it's going to be a bit of a wait. And even if you get everything done, you can't prestige out of the gate. Like, you can't lead your expedition out. There are windows that you have to wait for your expedition to be completed. It's all about timing. If you're wanting to prestige your raider, make sure you time it right, because the windows between expeditions is kind of small, I'm guessing, because I don't have a window for an expedition, and it's been already 2 days and we haven't gotten anything yet. Next, we have the trials. This is ranked mode. You want to play ranked, or you want to get more into the competitive side of Arc Raiders and actually do some really risky stuff, that would be the trials. Trials, you can focus on that. It mainly focuses more on anti-bots. There are some trials that require to go against raiders, but most of which are, you're fighting against the Arc. Make sure you're just prepared to go on, and if you're really wanting to do ranked mode, there's a lot more risk, but you get a lot more reward for it. So of course, next we have what makes our character stand out amongst other raiders: customization. That's right, you are able to customize your raider as well. However, it's a little bit more restrictive, and it's not at the same time. So with each suit or, uniform that you can get, it's restricted to certain cosmetics. So you can't, it's not like Helldivers where the helmets can be, you can wear whatever helmet you want on any armor. You can't really do that, but you are able to customize the color for some of these uniforms and such. So it's a nice balance. I would like some more customization options, honestly, but for what it is, it's pretty solid. I really have no big complaints on the customization. Like I said, I would like some more color options, or I would like some more options where I can switch headgears like Helldivers. I can mesh different headgears with certain uniforms and such. So if you could add that, please, Embark. That would be a nice quality of life touch. So, but yeah, go to the customization, make your raider stand out amongst the others. Pretty simple. Last but not least, in the raiders category, we have the skill tree. The skill tree is where you can flesh out your playstyle, your build. As you can see from my build, I'm more into mobility and survival because I want to be able to move quick and I want to be able to get out of situations pretty effectively. Next, we have the workshops. This is your base of operations. This is where you get to build everything you need. Everything you need, everything you're looking for in terms of prepping, making sure you're going out in the best ways possible. Use the workshop. This is your lifeblood. This is what makes you effective as a raider, is utilizing this. Don't invest your money into the store until you're very comfortable with your budget. And then last but not least, we have Scrappy, the rooster. Scrappy collects loot for you, and he does that every time when you go out in a raid. After you come back, whether it's a successful or failed raid, he stores loot for you after every one. So utilize this. Make sure you stack up that loot. Don't come back from a raid and immediately take his stuff. Go into raids on a regular basis. Yeah, and either bear the fruits of your labor afterwards. Make sure he goes out to max on his loot, especially his seeds. Like I said, the seeds are very important for Celeste, especially if you need to get some components that are very hard to find, like magnets and processors. Oh my god, they're a nightmare to get. So definitely save up your seeds. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: monetization. The good news is, this is where Arc Raiders heavily takes a lot of inspiration from Helldivers. Arc Raiders has completely taken the monetization structure that Helldivers has done with its war bonds and brought it into their game. Once again, proving that Helldivers 2, with all of its flaws and all of its incompletions and imperfections, Arc Raiders literally saw the monetization and the pricing structure that Helldivers 2 committed to, and they did the exact same thing. They took inspiration from the war bonds of Helldivers and brought it into Arc Raiders, and these are called decks. Now, the one thing I did notice about the first deck right out of the gate, kind of like the first war bond in Helldivers, it's the most grindy. Now, I hope that Arc Raiders does not fall into the same pit that Helldivers falls into with its following war bonds after that. And what I mean by that is it doesn't fall into the pit to where I can earn everything in literally less than 2 days. I hope there's more of a grind, because in the first deck, again, it's more of a grind. I've been playing for over 24 hours straight in Arc Raiders, and I have yet to even hit, I haven't even hit page 4 of the deck, and there's 6 pages to it. I am very happy that it's more of a grind than what Helldivers was. I hope that Embark can maintain that same grind with the future decks, unlike what Helldivers is doing with their war bonds, where you can earn everything in less than a week. I would imagine the decks are going to be purchasable like Helldivers, which would make sense. This is a live service game model, so you would need to follow that formula. But other than that, I think the decks for Arc Raiders is a genius input, and it follows the same structure as Helldivers 2. Same thing with their store items. You see all these bundles here, you would think, oh, I have to buy the entire bundle to get any of these items. No, you do not. You can actually go inside the bundle itself and you can select separate items from that bundle that you like. The devs are giving you options to purchase these bundles, which is fantastic. I cannot stress how important this is. Instead of literally throwing everything like, drop us $20 right now, non-negotiable. No, they're straight up saying, oh, if you don't want the bundle, if you want this cool backpack, you can purchase it for 500 tokens. And this is what incentivizes people, and it makes the monetization for this game so much more approachable. Thank you, Embark Studios, for taking inspiration from Helldivers 2 and implementing it into your game. Because Helldivers 2, you can do the same thing. You do not have to feel restricted to just purchasing the whole kit. You can purchase the cape, you can purchase the armor itself, or whatever. You don't have to buy a whole bundle for it. Same thing with Arc Raiders. The developers at Embark Studios not only respect your time, but they damn well respect your wallet. They understand that not everybody can drop just 20 bucks on just some skins or buy a battle pass for like 40 bucks or 20 bucks or whatever it's worth these days. They are giving you options to do these. They are giving you options to make the monetization more approachable. And as much as I don't like microtransactions in video games, this and Helldivers formula is the best to follow. More games, please, more games, follow this example. This is how you do it. This is how you make a good monetization model. Does Arc Raiders offer anything else that is unique and significant? Yes, that is deployment/map design. On launch, they have released 4 locations right out the get-go. So here we have the map layout that is really cool. It actually looks like somebody drew on a map and created a diorama of like a map design, and just you look over like it's more of like a tactical war map. It's really, really cool. Or not even a tactical war map. This looks more like a Wanderer's map. Something rugged, earthy, and gritty, like has that grit feeling to it. So we have 4 map selections right out the get-go on release. We have Dam Battlegrounds, Buried City, Spaceport, Blue Gate, and with the upcoming map, Stella Montis. Stella Montis is on the roadmap to be released later this month in November. It is absolutely insane. By the way, that's another thing I want to point out. Check out this roadmap. We have 2 huge updates coming out this month alone. And on top of that, another big update coming out in December before Christmas. The devs are going full throttle into the development of this game. They're adding new snow environments, they're adding new quests, they're adding a new map. It is absolutely crazy to me that they have managed to put in so much time already into this game. And they're already committing so much more. Every map in the game is different from the other. There is no same design, no same elements. Every map offers something different and offers something unique. And each map also has what are called night raids, except for Blue Gate. Blue Gate has what is called electromagnetic storms. So in electromagnetic storms and night raids, you can go on these maps, get higher tier loot, but there's a lot more consequences. There's a lot more dangers to it. For one, you can't go down raider hatches, which are emergency hatches that you can use the hatch keys for that I told you about earlier. These maps are a lot more difficult and a lot more demanding on a raider. So if you're going into a night raid or an electromagnetic storm, be sure you're kitted up. You're gonna need it, trust me. So what are my criticisms and complaints about the game? Well, like I said, not much, but there is a few. I would be very mistaken and, very biased if I didn't say this game doesn't have problems. If you saw their Discord page, the developers are obviously having a hard time maintaining the servers because, again, they're having Helldivers syndrome. When Helldivers first released, the servers were overwhelmed. The developers did not imagine or prepare for the amount of influx that they would get with players coming into their game. And with that being said, the servers were overloaded. And this has caused some problems. Well, what problems do you mean? Well, yeah. Embark, please fix that. I would rather lose games against getting shot at or teabagged by other players or getting bullshit thrown off a cliff. Hey, I'm up here. All right, just in case. Whoa! Oh my god. No! 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 Grapple! Grapple! Grapple!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
That is one of my biggest complaints right now, is I lost some really decent stuff. The quality of the servers does need some more work on it. That could absolutely deter players from playing your game. That's one criticism. The other criticism I have, stash inventory. Stash is obviously going to be also a problem that players are going to suffer from. It's really skewed in terms of numbers. One of the problems that I have with stash that me and my buddy Shockfox both noticed is every time when you level up your stash or buy new stash, it doesn't change the amount of stash inventory that you get, but the price to get that stash increases. So every time when you level up your stash, it is 24 slots. You get 24 slots of free space. Unfortunately though, this is where it gets skewed. You would think that while you're increasing your stash, the number would increase along with that. So if you get extra 10 stash spaces, you pay like $10,000, like 10,000 credits, right? And it goes up from there, like 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, whatever, no, right? No, it doesn't do that. So to get 24 stash slots, you need to cough up more money as you progress. So 24 stash slots at 10, 24 at 20, 24 at 60, and it can get really expensive and not worth it at times. I think the stash numbers could be a little bit fixed on, just because, especially for, looters, people who specifically just go out in the world to get items and loot, that's kind of a bummer for them because they can't keep all the, the stuff in there. So I think the stashes could use a little bit of a rework, and a little bit of a fix. So the more it gets expensive, the more stash slots you get. I think that's a fair trade, in my opinion. In conclusion, Arc Raiders is a full-fledged work of art. It is a masterpiece. It is something that a lot of game studios should understand, take inspiration from, and learn from what this studio is doing in the gaming industry. And one thing I did notice from this studio is taking the mistakes that Helldivers has made, and they are improving upon those mistakes for their own game. This to me shows a lot of maturity, respect, and passion that they have for their game. They do not want to be in a position where Arrowhead is at right now. With much love and passion and attention put into this game, Arc Raiders can succeed where other live service games have failed. To the developers of Embark Studios, you have a golden goose on your hand. You want to give the best experience and the best outcome for your game to your audience, and you want to show that in the best way possible as well. Everything from the art style, the tone, the music, the animations, the sound effects is perfection. Everything from the monetization creation is perfection. This game is on the way to becoming something that no other game has ever been. Any live service game has ever been. Keep up the momentum, Embark. You are on your way to greatness. Now, I want to go play the game. Yeah, I'm going to go play the game. Y'all have a good one. I'll catch you later. This is Red Warrior signing out. Peace.